Well, we're celebrating our nation's 250th birthday by honoring everyday Americans. We call it Red, White, and You.
It is the perfect way to honor veterans in the St. Louis area who have served their country. Steve Savard joins us now with tonight's Spotlight on Service.
It's an honor to tell another one of these stories tonight. University City native Joel Eisenstein's father fought in both World War II and Korea. He never spoke of his time in combat, but the call to serve was passed on to Joel. In 1968, 3 semesters into law school, at age 22 and with the draft looming, he enlisted in the Marines. He was told he failed his physical. The former state champion swimmer would not accept that finding, so he flew to Washington, D.C. at his own expense to convince Marine brass that he was, in fact, fit for duty.
So if you're going to go to Vietnam as a rifleman, you need to be as well trained as possible. Then you want to have a little bit of control over what's going on. So that means you want to be an officer. Who's the best trained? The Marines. So it was an easy call. I want to be a Marine.
In Vietnam, Joel earned the rank of first lieutenant. As a company commander, he led 30 to 35 men. And as a man of modest size, he chose to lead by example, not asking his men to do anything he wouldn't.
That's not the easiest way, but it's the only way if you want to gain the respect of your troops. Respect is everything. They still call me Skipper, which is a compliment rather than a rank to this day. So yeah, I was the captain of their ship. If you think about how dangerous it is, you wouldn't do it. No sane man would do it. You know, when they're firing and somebody's got to stand up and say, let's go, let's do this, let's do that. Why would you stand up when the chances of getting shot are pretty great? Increase when you stand up and make yourself a big target. But that's what officers do.
Joel is wary of trying to explain the nature of combat to those of us who haven't experienced it. It just doesn't translate.
But you don't have that feeling. You can't understand those sounds and sights and seeing people with parts blown off all over you, carrying somebody who's dying to a helicopter with his brains in your hand. And there are reminders of those things all the time in civilian life. That's when you talk about post-traumatic stress. You learn to manage it. You never get over it.
When his tour ended, Joel returned stateside in 1972. Upon landing, he and his fellow Marines were advised to change out of their uniforms to avoid the wrath of anti-war protesters.
You will not like what's out there. Do it. Don't ask questions. So we all went straight off the plane into the restroom, put on civilian clothes, came out, saw the demonstrators with their flags and their signs and crap like that, just walked right by them and got out.
Joel would wait 53 years for the proper welcome home he deserved. Greater St. Louis Honor Flight provided that in the summer of 2025.
I was able to get 3 of the Marines that I served with, who I'm still very close with, on that flight. We were a group, and we did it together. My daughters flew in from LA, my grandchildren were there. It was overwhelming, and I cried. It made the whole trip. It is one of the most meaningful experiences. Was it a welcome home, well-earned and overdue? It was.
Joel says he cherishes his Marine Corps experiences and says he is today what he learned in the Corps. He earned a Silver Star for Valor and 2 Bronze Stars for Valor, as well as a Purple Heart. Kelly, Mike, he's still practicing law at age 80. Looks pretty good for age 80.
He does.
Yeah. And says he is lucky to have made it home and remains close with the men he served with.
And it's
Never
so great,
gave up.
great you can tell these stories so he does get the honor that he didn't get when he came home.
Yeah, and he had a wonderful experience, as most do, on their Greater St. Louis Honor Flight.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Steve. Another